tough one. That was a tough one to watch. That was a tough one to take. Yankees drop the finale, but there is some optimism, and I'm gonna shock everyone, and I'm gonna be an optimist out of that horrible loss. Will Warren got completely lit up in the first inning, and the game was lost at that point. I think everyone kind of knew it, even though the Yankees started their comeback and actually did a valiant effort in doing so. But I'm going to put this up on the screen right now. I tweeted this out during the game, the first edition of it, but here's the second edition. Will Warren against playoff teams this year. He's made, or playoff teams, all right, fine. Not playoff teams. It's the Red Sox where he has 3 starts. The Blue Jays he had that 1 start, and then the Dodgers, so 5 games. So in those 5 starts, he's thrown 19 and 2 innings pitched in 5 games combined. He's given up 36 hits, 30 runs, 6 homers, 16 walks, and 17 strikeouts in those starts combined. He only struck out 2 today over 5 innings, gave up 6 in the first and nothing the rest of the way. So if you're going to be an optimist, you could say, well, Warren struggled but found it. You can also go on the other side of Warren might have been tipping in the first. I can totally see that being a thing, and that's okay. He was able to figure it out and give the Yankees innings, and ultimately got the Yankees back in this game. They didn't lose this game 6-0. They lost it 6-4, and let's not lie. Did any of us think they were actually going to lose this game, like in a safe situation, or even get the tying run on the plate in the 8th inning? Even though everyone wants to sit and say that the pitches were low and not strikes, they were strikes to Bellinger and Stanton. If you look at StatCast and all the other tracking methods, they were strikes, and they were called correctly. And okay, maybe it's a tough spot, but you know what? If it was the other way around, you would have wanted those pitches called and would have been screaming and yelling that those pitches were strikes if it was Devin Williams or Luke Weaver pitching against Masataka Yoshida or any of their guys. So we can't play that game. They were strikes. I'm not going to complain about that. The Yankees' homer or bust offense showed up tonight. In the homer or bust, they scored 4 runs, all via the home run. 2-run shot by Rosario. Good to see him with a home run. Then the solo shot by Judge off Crochet, which was awesome because it looked like Crochet was just going to dominate him the whole night, and that didn't happen, so that's great. And then Jose Caballero, who's making the bid for the shortstop position, hammered a shot off Steven Matz, a lefty, so that's good. And the Yankees didn't die in this game. They never died, right? They were kind of in the game for the rest of it. That's Warren's final line: 5 innings, 10 hits, 6 runs, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts, 1 homer. Now, the Stanton ball off the wall in the first ended up costing the Yankees, and that happens. Stuff like that happens. It's life. The main thing here, and the main takeaways are the Yankees, in a stretch that we all called the gauntlet, had a minimum. They had to go over 500. They had to. Well, guess what? They went 7-5, and the 2 series, in my opinion, that they had to win, the Toronto series and the Boston series, they won. They took 2 or 3 from each. In fact, they won 2 in a row against both of them. And I came on here last night and said, yesterday was so important. You're facing Crochet. You're facing Crochet. Crochet gave up 3 runs in 6 innings. Like, if Warren had pitched like a little bit better, the Yankees might have won this game. Like, Crochet was dominant with the strikeouts, but he didn't really impress me with anything else. Right, the strikeouts, and then there were some great defensive plays, especially from Hamilton at second base, even in the 9th inning there to rob Jazz of a single. At the end of the day, They came away with a series win. They're going to fly tonight to Minnesota. I'll show the series probables in a second. They're going to see three pitchers who they should dominate. One of which they know because he pitched for the Rays up until the trade deadline when he got traded back in the the Griffin Jacks trade. Excuse me. He got sent back or was claimed off waivers or one of the funky things. Anyway, Ty Bradley. We're facing in Game 3. But the Yankees should honestly, looking at the record of the Twins, they're 65 and 84, and who the Yankees are pitching, the Yankees should sweep them, and it shouldn't really be close. Like, they're not facing Joe Ryan. They just lost a series to the Diamondbacks, who I thought were dead, and are now all of a sudden in the heat of that playoff race in the wild card. I don't think they have enough, but they are in the heat of a playoff race, and they took 2 of 3. They don't have a great bullpen. The Yankees bullpen actually this series, who had a blip on the radar, and it just happened in back-to-backs, was Fernando Cruz. Everyone else was fine. I didn't love Mark Later in that spot. He gets the double play and gets the job done, so no harm, no foul. Camilo Duvall actually threw the ball really well today, I thought. I thought he looked good today. I thought today was one of his best outings in a while. Because he was actually, and Cone mentioned it on the broadcast, that he was able to get hitters today, and it helped a lot. Like, the difference with Camilo Duvall, oh my God, getting ahead of hitters and getting behind hitters. Why does it keep doing this? Getting ahead of hitters and getting behind hitters, it's so different. And he is so much when he's ahead of hitters. Able to give that evidence today. So hopefully that's a sign of things to come. Because the Yankees didn't trade for him to be a middle reliever. I think that's good enough. They traded for him to be an elite setup man, not your sixth inning guy. And that's what he is now. He's your, they brought him into a loss and he dominates. Now, I don't know if he does this with the pressure of a win up there. If you want to look for other positives today, they were able to give the rest of their bullpen the night off. Like the really high leverage guys. Like Bednar, who had pitched a lot as of late, Weaver, Williams. But they went 7-5 in the gauntlet period. Fox Sports, MLB on Fox, who've been trolling the Yankees for weeks now. And I love how it's like a national news alert when the Yankees are playing good teams, because everyone thinks they're a joke. And the Yankees in the stretch proved everybody wrong. The only team that I think that they truly struggled against, I'm going to pull up Fox Sports right now, that they truly, truly struggled against, I think was probably the Tigers. And that was not because, the offense struggled a little bit against Detroit. Okay, cool. But the bullpen really struggled. If the Yankees get this bullpen straight, the Yankees could go on a run. The fact that they really finished up this stretch the way they did and actually came out of it alive is impressive to me, because that's what I wanted from them. I didn't want them to come out under 500 or whatnot. Now, I did make a statement last week, and my statement was if they left Fenway Park tonight within 2.5 games of this division, they'll win it. Unfortunately, Toronto swept the Baltimore Orioles, who the Yankees see 7 times in the next 2 weeks. And because the Yankees lost today, they're 4 back with 13 to play. Now, those 13 games are against teams where the Yankees really should go 10-3 against, if we're being real. Like I don't think it's insane to say the Yankees should go 10-3 in the next stretch. I think they should sweep Minnesota. I just pulled up who they're pitching and who's facing the Yankees, as the Wi-Fi at my college sucks. Um, they are facing a lot of great pitchers coming up, or they're not facing a lot of great pitchers. And excuse me, and they have Rodon, Schlittler, and Heel, who've all pitched well. The only one who really hasn't pitched well for a little while now is Will Warren. And I'm not gonna kill the kid. I'm not, because he's still developing, and the fact that he was able to go out there and still give big innings and still pitch relatively okay and not tax that bullpen is a plus. I need more from him. I really wanted that sweep of Boston. It's fine. It's fine. They went 7-5 in the gauntlet. They took a series on the road at Fenway, which a week ago I thought was inconceivable. They beat Brian Bayo, which I think is a big deal. They actually did get to Crochet for 3 today, which is a big deal because if you're facing Crochet at Yankee Stadium, right? I showed you guys last week, and if not, I could pull it up or try to. Now, it could be totally wrong, and this could be totally thrown off. I know I don't even know if I filled out. I don't even know if I filled it out. Shoot, I don't even have that Google account on here. I'm going to take my screen off for a second while I figure this out. So I did last week a projection of who I believe the Yankees are starting over the next stretch. And I don't know why it's not letting me do a pass key. I'm impressed because the Yankees really should have been better in the stretch than they were. Like, if we're going to be honest, they should have probably swept Houston, if not for that boneheaded umpire. Who was it? Brian Walsh, who's probably at Fenway this weekend. He was probably over the monster cheering this weekend for Boston. Here we go. But my projection, and I did not do a projection for the Boston series or for the Minnesota series. So I'll pencil them in now. And, SWR is an acronym for Simeons Woods Richardson. That's how they name him out there. And now they list him on the lineup card because his name is insanely long. As I'm sure you could tell on that graphic because I couldn't fit his full name on there. I'm trying to find, I know it's the other one. Did I post it before the Giant game, did I? Bad day for New York football teams, for Yankee fans and New York football fans that aren't Bills fans. Horrible day. Zebby Matthews, that's right. I feel like we dominated him at the stadium. So Rodon actually struggled early and then figured it out. And then Heel and Schlittler. Did Heel pitch against the Twins? I think Schlittler did and struggled a little bit late. I feel like that was a storyline. I think that's right. Bradley. And then it's going to be Freed against Rogers, Warren against Sugano. I forget who's Saturday. Povich is Sunday. And then they're finally off. I forget who's that Saturday game. But now we flip the calendar. And against Baltimore, it will be Schlittler versus Povich. And then Heel. Let's see who Baltimore has projected for the 17th. Because that's likely who it's going to be. Do they have anyone projected? Or am I doing this wrong? I'm doing this wrong. So, let's say... No. Come on. Of course they don't have anyone projected. Why would they? Who's even in their rotation right now? Baltimore's been like dismantled by injuries, and let's be honest. Actually, let's do this. Who'd they pitch on Friday? Baltimore has struggled so much. Oh, it might be Bradish. Friday. He lost 6-1. Who started the game? Oh, it was Rogers. So we're facing Rogers against Freed. They must have an off day. So Rogers against Freed, Warren against Sagano. This is what ESPN has projected. So what I do is I go into ESPN, I fill out who's projected, and fill out the Yankee rotation. They're filled out for the rest of the year. So right now, if it was between Schlittler and Heel for the start in the wild card series, it would most likely be Schlittler on short rest. Because they'd have that off day on Monday, and it'd be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at the stadium. So it will be Schlittler because you're going to have Rodon and Freed first. Hold on, I have this wrong. It's free. They changed it. It was not this morning. Okay. This makes a little bit more sense. Freed versus Kramer. Warren against Rogers. Rodon against Sugano. And then against Bradish. So they'll get Bradish. They'll get Bradish there, and it'll be versus Baltimore. The first matchup is Sagano struggled with the long ball this year. Smith. So that's all they have listed on ESPN. And even that, I'm like making a couple of predictions. Let me see who they have listed this week for Baltimore on Wednesday. And I'm going to pencil that one in to get the final start of the season. Because you also have to remember, the Orioles are playing spoiler. I said Wednesday. They have Povich starting Wednesday. Oh, yeah, that would make sense. Then. Oh, okay, so Povich, they originally had Thursday. They flipped. Okay. Oh, wait, no, that's wrong. So we'll see Povich on the final day of the year, it looks like. Only missing 2 starters for the rest of the year that we don't have a projection for. And I'm not going to look right now on the White Sox to see who they have projected, because I'm sure one of them is probably going to end up being Yogo, maybe. We'll see. But this is like go time for the Yanks. This is a stretch where you're facing 3 bad teams, the Twins, the O's, and the White Sox. 4 series, 3 teams. And they're all not very good. And you need to beat them. And if you go 9-4, 10-3 against them, that puts you, 10-3 puts you at 93 wins, which is one shy of last season. They had 94 last year. And that was enough to win the division. And that's not going to win the division this year. Unless Toronto, who, unfortunately, Yankee fans are going to be Red Sox fans over the next few weeks. Toronto's schedule is the toughest remaining in the East. That's a good thing. But Toronto has shown everyone that they can do it. So this isn't going to sound tough with who they start with, because of course they do. And of course it's at that bandbox. They should just take it away and put them back at the Trop with no roof or something. They face Tampa this week. If anything loads, which it won't. So they face Tampa this week. Let's see who else they face. And not to scare many people when I say this. Oh, and they're starting a top prospect tomorrow. There was that. The whatchamacallits. The Rangers are right back in this playoff picture. But with 4 back, you're okay, so it's 4 at that bandbox, then 3 against Kansas City, then 3 against Boston at Rogers Center, so advantage Toronto, and then 3 against the Rays. So they don't really have a difficult schedule left. The Rays stink. The Royals are great. I guess if Salvy's rolling and maybe they run into a couple, they're not world beaters. They are getting Waka back this week. Then Boston, that might be a competitive, good series. Can one of them please be on national TV? And my wish is not granted. Okay. And then Tampa to finish out the season. They have 1 series lost in the month of September, and they probably only will have 1. And it was to the Yankees. So then they'll get a bye. And the way the picture lands, you just hope that Boston goes on a losing streak. This is what you have to hope. Correct me if I'm wrong. Would you Yankee fans rather face the Red Sox in a 3-game set? Or the Houston Astros? Or the Mariners? One of those 3 teams. I'd rather face the AL West than Boston in an elimination set. Obviously, Seattle took lead of that. And even if it's the Texas Rangers, I'd probably rather face them. Because DeGrom's good. But the Yankees really haven't gotten to DeGrom. Nate Eovaldi's dealt against them this year, but they've had a couple of games where they've had a little success against them. And I don't know if Nate has faced the Yankees with both Stanton and Judge in the lineup this year, but they tend to have more success with both of them in the lineup against Nate than not. And then who's their third starter? Jack Leiter, who the Yankees have beat twice? Or some other scrub? So, yeah, you'd probably rather face Texas, and their bullpen's okay. It doesn't scare you, but they got some good pieces in there. So maybe you hope that Texas gets in over Boston or over Houston. Houston has not played well for a while now. Going back to when they left Yankee Stadium last, they have not played well. And you'd have them at home. Obviously, 10 years ago, you had them at home in the wild card, and it was the Dallas Keuchel game. And we all remember that. And sent us packing. I'd rather have them than Boston. Even though they took 2-3 against the Red Sox, Crochet's a stud. Bayo had an off day, and I'm not confident that he's going to have another off day. So you're lucky to get him when you did. And then if for some reason you split, that you get Schlittler against Giolito. In that case, advantage Yankees. If Schlittler shows up, if Schlittler struggles, advantage Boston. I don't know what to say. A lot coming up. All you can hope for is that the Rays decide that this week they want to play baseball and take 3 of 4 from Toronto, and you sweep the Minnesota freaking Twins. That's all I can say. Thanks for watching. Subscribe tomorrow night. Twins Yankees at 7:40 on Yes Network. The series probably.